Good evening, everybody, and wow, my computer is really low. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to BPL Season 8. The playoffs are almost here, Denji. We have a few teams tonight looking to be, the last couple of teams actually punching their tickets into the final BPL Season 8 bracket. We're going to start down here in the C League with Pachisuba versus Knights of Revan. And this will be the last team here. The winner of this game will be the last team to make the playoffs.
Yeah, and the other funny thing is the team winner of this match actually has to face my team right after tomorrow. I know quite a bit about both these teams, having played against one of them and scrimmed the other one quite often. Pachi was like a kind of a dark horse in my head for a bit because they did take a 2-0 against Free Fall, which was something that not many people saw coming at the time. But then they fell to Eternal X and Chosen, and that was kind of like Pachisuba was kind of like has the roller coaster of a season. Also, their availability hasn't been the best I've heard. Knights of Revan only win this season has been against Boundless Wolves, who was knocked out before play even started. They have taken a couple maps off of other opponents, taking one off of Yadigrasu and one off of Demonetized. They are down their main hit scan DPS Lindy Boy tonight, is what I've been told by one of their players. So they'll have a Kitsuge Sake, usually their support, and on hit scan instead.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the season records, and there's probably in most people's heads going to be a favorite coming into this series, that being Pachisuba, obviously. Just records wise, you look at their history and get a look. I guess we haven't gotten around to getting the BPL colored skins for Onron and Jetpack Cat.
I don't think we even have one for Hazard.
Well, regardless, here we've got Annie, Andrew, Taken Wallet, Pomku, Fungin, Bowsy, and Tim Week here on this Pachisuba roster. Generally, like I was saying, gonna be the favorite coming in here, but Denji, there's a reason that we don't just hand the playoff berth to one team that just has a better record.
Yeah, and
is that Bastion?
No, those are deadlocked. That's Nozomi's is I think Mina, and I have no clue who Biscuit is. But
I recognize that because of Super. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, they're from the deadlock tournament before BPL Overwatch this season started. So there's a little bit of a mix-up because some players never changed it off of deadlock, so it just will show deadlocked heroes or whatever they're called instead. But yeah, Lindy Boy, like I said, is gone, so they will have Kitsuge Sake on the DPS slot instead. Hunter Tane Revan rounding out the tank line, and then Nozomi and Biscuit. Biscuit is on the support line. I don't know why their support slot isn't appearing, because they've been playing support all season. And yeah, a person, thank you. He says he thinks that's Bebop. I have no clue. I don't play Deadlock, so I wouldn't know. And the reason I know who Mina is because of Super as well.
Because of Super, yeah. Okay, well, we do know what our first map is going to be here, selected by our higher seed, Pachisuba. It's going to be Lijiang Tower. Not too much of a surprise. Not even a little bit. It's Lijiang Tower. These players love Lijiang Tower. And it's not just the C League. It's every league ever. Anyone that's ever played Overwatch at any competitive level has played Lijiang Tower a billion times. It's a rush map where, playing as a death ball composition tends to be the name of the game. You're thinking around the Ramatras, the Orissas, the Malgas with a Lucio in tow to speed it all up. But according to our first ban here by Pachisuba, it's going to be the Ramatra. So down that main tank the number one option for the rush composition. Denji, where do you think we go for the side of Knights of Revan here on their second ban?
Well, off of the Pachisuba, this is a complete target ban at both Revan and Hunter Tane. Both very favor the Ramastra in the ball. Not Hunter can play the Sigma and other things, but it's gonna open up a lot more stuff. Bomku does favor the Sigma and Malga over the Ramastra more. Knights of Revan, of course, with tank off the board. I think you probably, if I'm Revan, the support line of Pachisuba has been like the main, like, kind of saving grace for them in certain areas, like when they have their moments. And Fudging the Mizuki, if he's left to do whatever he wants to do, can be a big issue. But instead, Knights of Revan are selecting a ban with the Sojourn, probably just targeting Andrew with that ban off of the Sojourn, maybe trying to force a cast duel. Taken Walt pretty much has been on Shion only when I've seen him play ever since the hero came out, and Andrew's been mainly picking the hit scan. Which both players were like hit scan mains, but both are very flexible, so they can interchange with each other.
Yeah, I imagine if it's because, you know, they want to get out to a potential map lead while not having to worry about that Sojourn duel, especially being down, you know, their main hit scan DPS player. So, as we get a look at our map stats, you know, Knights of Revan have picked up a couple of maps here and there. Lijiang Tower is unfortunately not one of them. 0-2 on the season for Knights of Revan. 2-0 though for Pachisuba. So a very, very comfortable map for this Pachisuba squad. Obviously getting the advantage of picking the first map, being our higher seed coming into this play-in. We get a look at our heroes out here early. Pomku on the Zarya, assuming to take care of Taken Wallet in the aggressive positioning that the Shion can provide on the other side. It's going to be a Reinhardt comp for Knights of Revan.
Yeah, I was guessing. I don't think Patchy are gonna roll out with the comp there on the support. Well, at least support language is Caviari. So Pachisuba rolling out with the Zarya. I mean, Pump really doesn't have a bubble target besides maybe his Shion to like cycle with. Knights of Revan, if they can just like sit on the point, lock down point, and make it really hard for Pachisuba to actually get in. So Pachisuba are gonna have to try to basically angle max on this point to try to get in or burst Hunter's shield down as much as they can.
Well, Knights of Revan already on this objective, holding it down with the hammer is Hunter Tane, getting a little bit aggressive, moving around at that middle part, but Biscuit with that Mizuki primary fire, able to drop Taken Wallet here early, a little bit of healing in from Nozomi as the flip does actually come through here early for Pachisuba. This Zarya trying to, you know, play safe while building up this charge. Mizuki does return a little bit quicker than some other characters. Looking around, still just, it's just a posturing battle right now. Like you said, very, very difficult for this Zarya to break through.
Yeah, especially since Zarya not only gets to break through Hunter's shield, but also has to worry about the symmetric turns that are playing himself in the doorways. Patchy did, I think, have Bowsy and Andrew off to the side, but a surge of speed from the speed ring from Nozomi will allow Sake and Hunter Tane to surge forward and find 2 picks, and Patchy are just going to have a full scale retreat. And notably, the entire time, Revan are in control of the point, so Patchy were just unable to get anything done besides maybe building some ultimates. But Knights of Revan have a couple 4 ultimates online. Apache are going to have about 3 to 4 maybe. It really depends on how Palm can build a squad.
Yeah, I mean, just been shooting that shield for such a long time, can't quite get the actual charge going. Okay, Dragon, here's the bubble in with the Kitsune Rush, blocked off by the photon barrier of the Symmetra. Kitsuki doing a good job of completely denying the Kitsune Rush. Earth Shadow ready to go here for Hunter. Pomku could throw down, grab. Hunter did get chained down as the ultimate comes out from that Mizuki, and as both of the sanctuaries enter the fray, it will be Knights of Revan coming out here on top. on Lijiang Night Market take the lead here on Lijiang Tower.
And they don't even need to use the Orbital Ray. Earthshatter does come at the very end there, but Pachisuba just, their combo wasn't designed to... If like maybe like they had a Reaper or something like that for Pomku to bubble and get in, that would be fine. But like when you grab Surge, that there's really no follow up because your Xion and your Freya aren't really there at the time either, and then Sanctuary just gets put on top of the grab Surge, so then you have to deal with the fact that you can't, it's really hard to get damage in if you're on the outside of the Sanctuary, so you have to step inside of it. And most of the damage is just shielded off by Hunter, and then the Sanctuary just splits Pomku from the entirety of his team, so when the Sanctuary comes down from Funjin, it's already too late. As Pomku is electing to stay on the doofus here.
Could be annoying at the very least as Andrew heads over to the Pharah. Opting to poke the teleporter at the moment. But Biscuit again, 2 maps in a row, it's been Biscuit with this Mizuki to get the first picks and will actually claim the second one as well to put Knights of Revan in control here on Lijiang Garden first.
Yeah, and Pomku now over to the Ritz, and the Doomfist is like a really questionable because you have to deal with the binding chain approach from Mizuki, and that's a big hindrance to a lot of mobility tanks, hence why Diva's pretty much falling out of the meta. Taking Walt over to the Bastion too, so they're just going to try to just focus fire down Hunter Tane's shield and then just blow him up off of that.
Andrew with a bit of an off angle as the rest of Pachisuba comes through that white room. Having to play super duper safe. Very, very low are these players for Pachisuba. Excellent job playing around the geometry of the map as OK Dragon is able to get the pick on to that far, so off-angle pressure is gone as the rest of these Pachisuba players just have to hold S. There's just no way that they're going to be able to get away, however. So Knights of Revan will retain their hold and cross the half-century mark here.
Knights of Revan are just having doing a pretty good job at absorbing the aggression from Pachisuba. In Pachisuba, they're trying to set up like an angled pinch where Andrew's in the like the bridge choke, while the rest of his team is in white lane. But one of the angles is always being dropped too low before the fight even starts, so they can't go in. So then there's just a complete split. And Andrew gets picked at the beginning of that previous fight, so they don't even have their far on the offense to try to pick in the chaos.
Andrew poking. Pomku gets traded. That is an unfortunate trade as OK Dragon finds 2 picks here. Motorcycle running everybody down, and now at 80% here for Knights of Revan. Is there even going to be an opportunity here for Pachisuba?
Well, Andrew does find Kitsuge Sake at the very back end, so that means there's connection gone. Taking Wall, which is literally the match over the bridge, and then happening on the point, Rush comes out from Andrew, uses the ultimate slugfest on the point. I think they're doing a pretty good job of just holding on to a lot of their ultimates, knowing that this is just kind of a lost fight, and they're okay with Elliot Flip.
Yeah, they did invest the Orbital Ray. They did invest the Orbital Ray, which is unfortunate. But they do have 3 more coming in here for this, what could be their final fight.
Fake CT.
Going around the north side here as the Hikai Sanctuary comes into play. Earth Shatter taking Pomku to the ground. Terra Surge to stay alive, and somehow they're not able to get rid of 50 while taking Wallet does go down. Here is the spree from OK Dragon doing so much damage, and Knights of Revan, the underdogs, only won one series this season, come out swinging to take first blood here on Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's kind of like a catch-22 now because Pachisuba were the ones who grabbed her Ramatra, so Pomku really doesn't have a reliable answer to the Reinhardt outside of this Arista that he's on. Arista and the Symmetra is just not a good time because he's going to get thrown down, and we'll find one at the back half, but that's all for naught. Knights of Revan, pretty dominant win on this Lijiang Tower, as at the end of the day, I think Pachisuba kind of shot themselves in the foot by banning Ramatra.
It just seems like they were wholly unprepared to play a rush mirror, right? Or I guess Brawl. They weren't playing the Zarya like the traditional Ramatra Lucio rush. Wait, yeah, they were. They were playing Kiriko Lucio. Wait a minute, they were playing rush. So they just seemed unprepared for sort of a similar up-tempo composition, or I guess rather in this case it would have been a bunker composition with that Reinhardt, which, to be honest, I don't really blame them. I can't imagine that there are a whole lot of teams out there grinding the Reinhardt compositions, really, admittedly. So the stay in one place, bunker down on the point composition that Knights of Revan were playing, I can imagine would have been hard to prepare for in the scrims that you might have been playing. So now that the cat's out of the bag, they're going to have a little bit of time to come up with a plan. They're going to get to pick the map as well here going into map number 2. So we'll have to see what Pachisuba have got in the bag as we move forward.
Yeah, and of course, we're in a play-in/playoffs. It is a first to 3 formats instead of first to 2. So Pachisuba have that going, that they are not like at risk of just losing the match now after this next map. And they get to select map. I believe the next type it goes to is hybrid off the top of my head. Yes. So there it is, hybrid, push, flashpoint, and escort. So Pachisuba do get to pick their preferred hybrid map. Now, speaking from experience and the fact that I've only played Revan really early in the season, the map that I played them on was Neon Junction, and they were pretty strong there, but they relied really heavily off of Nozomi and Ana. So once Nozomi and Ana kind of got shut out, they kind of were like, they were relying on Nozomi hitting nades and nano boosts to try to win pretty much every single fight. That can work, but you're relying basically on your Ana to do everything at that point.
Yeah, I can't say that I know a whole lot. Would it be possible, actually? Can we get a look at the map stats?
The map selection.
The map stats. Map records.
So, yeah, so...
Here. Okay. Neon Junction. Probably not in the minds here of Pachisuba. Kings Row and Midtown, both in the pool. I mean, you gotta think...
We're probably going to Kings Row.
We're probably going to Kings Row. If Lijiang Tower and Kings Row are both in the same map pool at the same time, the first 2 maps are usually going to be Lijiang Tower, Kings Row. So it's hard to find an argument refuting that possibility, as we are still waiting for that map selection. But I mean, they've got to find some way to break this like really slow stay in one spot composition that the Knights of Revan were playing. I mean, you were gonna try the Doomfist, then you saw Mizuki, and scratch everything that we were just talking about.
Denji.
It's not going to be Kings Row. So they are. I think what this says about what Pachisuba wants to do is they're taking the agency out of the rush compositions, because the first 2 points on this map are extremely dive heavy. Interestingly though, their first ban is Winston. So I get that's something that
doesn't the winning team get ban pick first? Or am I mistaken?
It's been a year, Denji. I didn't read the rule book. I didn't read the rule book.
So losing team gets map pick and ban.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Our person did say that the losing team does get to select the map, and they get the first ban. So getting rid of the Winston, again, it's targeting Hunter Tank. Hunter likes to play the Winston. Yeah, he does have a diva on him, but Pomku's probably just gonna play the Diva. Maybe leaving the Sigma because Pomku did favor the Sigma pretty heavily in the early season. Knights of Revan, not sure what they're gonna come back with the ban. If I was Pachisuba, I would be more concerned about their support line because like Nozomi and Biscuit. I know for a fact because like watching Kitsuga Saka stream, Biscuit is like their IGL, and Nozomi's really mechanically skilled on any hero that she plays. So like trying to shut out one of them to try to take some of that heat off, but like you're denying the tank, which I mean tank is like the main space taker. If you have a bad tank, you're not going to win the game. But I would have liked to see them maybe potentially ban the Ana, unless Tim Week is coming in and they just want to have that Ana available for him. Because Tim Week does favor the Ana heavily more compared to other flex supports.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this other side for Knights of Revan. I'm interested in what they're planning. You know, I completely agree there. I mean, there really are a lot of options here. You know, you were talking about how the Diva is going to get played. You know, you ban the Winston. That allows, you know, something like a Symmetra to be played still if they want to go that direction, try and play a little bit more grounded than the traditional dive composition. Still waiting for this ban from Knights of Revan.
Let's see here. I mean, you could ban the Ana to try to hinder Pachisuba, but you have a really good Ana player your own on your roster. Actually, two good Ana players, being Biscuit and Nozomi, both are kind of more flex support-ish than they are main supports, but Mizuki is like kind of like that. He can be played by either or, in my opinion. But now, if you're Pachi, like not Pachi, if you're Knights, maybe looking banning a DPS, perhaps like maybe the Shion Force taken off of his comfort pick.
Yeah.
They are taking a while with this ban.
I'm not gonna lie.
Sure.
I'm running out of things.
I don't know what they're doing.
Okay, Knights of Revan do have a ban. They have a ban. Okay, KO are gonna ban out the Pharah, which, sure, we did see Andrew on the Pharah on Legion Garden. I'm gonna take that element. You know, could potentially poke from, you know, outside far on the first objective. Which, sure, why not? We come back to our map stats. Numbani has not been played this season by Pachisuba, which means that either there's really two options here, or two reasons here, is that they've really been grinding this Numbani pick, or they're just hoping that Knights of Revan will not have an answer because they did want to play that more grounded, you know, Reinhardt or even the Ramatra or Orisa compositions.
Yeah, and we do have a sub. Tim Week is coming in for Bowsy, so they're probably gonna like see like more like Ana stuff from both sides. That being said, you mentioned that Pachisuba has not played Numbani. They've probably been scrimming, like you said. With that being said, because it's during regular season, all the maps are predetermined during regular season, and during the week that Pachisuba had Hybrid first, it was not Numbani, and Hybrid usually gets moved further. Hybrid kind of got moved further and further back into like the map 4, map 3 area, where Pachisuba really never got to force like that map 3 or map 4 in case of a draw, which, I mean, in the case of a draw, you'd have to like be drawn like on like push or S score. That never usually happens.
Alright, map number 2, Numbani. On the attack is Knights of Revan, Hunter taking up the role of the Diva, Pomku mirroring that on the other side, and it will be the Ana duel. Well, actually, everything but the DPS is exactly the same.
Yep, that's kind of what I expected here. Is it will have like Kitsuke like has like that ability like to like have a more potent dive with the dynamite and plus anti-nade plus Hunter just flying in and Dragon coming in to the fight. Well, you're outside Pachisuba, you have like a lot more like maybe blow up one target with like the bike or the disruptor shot anti-nade. the whole team kind of like a different style of dive. I believe that that Taken that got thrown had really off to the side, but I couldn't mistake it.
All right, here we go. Map number 2, 3.5 minutes already on the clock. Okay, Dragon already under quite a lot of drop. Oh, what an untimely reload to take Mala, but actually able to track down the kill onto the Genji. No deflect there for OK Dragon, and without OK Dragon, Knights of Revan will just have to play it safe with the Genji to return.
Yeah, it looked like Hunter and Dragon were kind of forced to take him out of his angle, but Hunter didn't flinch and Dragon did, so a little bit of a disconnect from the DPS and tank of Knights of Revan. This is like one of the summer areas that you get stuck on your body. You're in a narrow choke, you're kind of just stuck in this area, you have to walk out eventually, right into the LOS of everybody who's sitting on that back high ground.
Alright, well, now fully committed to this dive is Hunter and OK Dragon, and it's going to be the early pick onto the Diva from Kitsuki, the sub. Normally a support player, clicking heads, exploding enemies here on map number 2 to start this game out.
Yeah, and like you saw like a little bit, like I mean, it looked like Dragon and Hunter finally got into that area of the map where like you're gonna force this tension away. Pachimari just doesn't get the memo that he needs to back up and get forced away. And here comes the bomb from Pachimari. Hunter does lose next in the process. Rowdy is out taking over with the spree on the high ground. Pachisuba suddenly with the explosion of damage and ultimates come back into the fight, and they will deny the cap from Revan. Maybe 6.5%, that's brutal, and they're staggering Hunter a little bit.
Minute and a half or so by the time we get back into the fray. That's a couple ultimates there. Biscuit unfortunately used that rally to try and survive the self-destruct, not knowing that Hunter had been de-mech'd. Almost has a self-destruct of his own. See the nano boost ready to go for Nozomi. Looking on it to a Hunter here for that ultimate. Can get rid of this mech, can't quite because the nano boost comes out from the other side as well. And Kitsuki again following up beautifully on what Hunter is doing, clicking the head there of Andrew. It's gonna be an attempt at getting rid of this Genji, will be dropped. However, I think the damage is a well, okay. Nice little anti there onto Fungin will allow Hunter to clean that up, but this fight is over because Pachimari not only is going to be tracked down these kills, but even if it gets de-mech'd, has the self-destruct again.
Yeah, Revan are doing a good job like finding the opener, but they are just struggling at closing out the fight. And there's been two fights where they find like two really good openers, but then Pachisuba are able to like stabilize with the remaining players they have left and come back with ultimates with Fudging rallies. The previous fight, really, the previous time was Pachimari self-destruct taking like 3, and now it's a staring down final fight. Hunter over towards Zarya, and they do a Dragon Blade to work with, but that's only the hit or a miss, especially since none of the mana resist ability in their power.
Pachimari has such a zoning ultimate here in the self-destruct as well. Needs to bubble OK Dragon. Yeah, a nice whip shot there. They will drop down onto the objective. Hunter, unfortunately, under a lot of duress, had the bubble, but I mean, just not enough health to work with here. 97.3% is where Knights of Revan will fall short. Not impossible, but will not be easy on the defense here.
Switching sides.
Not easy, and Knights, they had like three fights where they have an opening pick, or they have really good like pre-fight positioning to get a dive off, and they aren't able to finish the cleanup kills, and that's just like the really bad thing. Like the first time Pachimari goes down early, but he goes down like at 80% to Diva Bomb, so when he comes back in, is able to stall the point out long enough to build the Diva Bomb up and then get it off, and that buys enough time for his team to come back. And then the fight after that, Andrew gets taken down during his overclock. He doesn't even get a shot off of it. Did Apache panic? No, they just walk back in with Pachimari and Fungin rallying on the point, and they leave Tim Leak on the high ground, so then Hunter Tane has to make the choice to either brawl the point or go for the Ana.
Coming through. on to the back half of the map. No draws on Numbani. There is a clear line to gain here for Pachisuba. 97.4%. Nothing changing.
So it's not
Five.
it's not worst case scenario for Knights because they do have the win column where like yeah they did get some point percentage, so if they full hold Pachisuba they still win the map. That being said, full holding on Numbani, it can't fuller holding on Numbani is a taller task than it is, especially if you start losing players really early in these fights. Like if Knights maybe lose Hunter Cane or no, I mean too early, they do have a chance to maybe come back in and try to stall it out, but it's gonna be tough.
Alright, here we go to decide Numbani. 3.5 minutes separate us at the max. Motorcycle gonna claim that health pack. Gonna find a little bit of damage on it to the Genji with that throw. A lot of damage going into Hunter, and unfortunately, Andrew throwing that railgun right into the forehead of Nozomi, and without Hunter, well, not in the mech, but not in the fight at all. This is going to be an extremely difficult retake here for the side of Knights of Revan.
Yeah, and Knights just they kind of like did a little bit of what Patchy did on their defense. They kind of let Patchy get in pretty much for free. Not that much damage was being put out. They had a really good name in the choke where it just was prompt to like punt a place passive for just a few seconds, but Revan just played scared, and like yeah, you have to like play. You don't play explosive off the bat in the first fight of the defense, but there comes a time where if you're just gonna let them have all the space, you're just like waving the white flag and like saying, "Let's go next."
I mean, they're more than likely very uncomfortable in these kinds of compositions, right? We probably knew that just based off of the players on this team. Don't want to push the dive for the most part, which is fine. Sometimes you're pushed into a corner and you're not able to you know, keep up on something that you're a little bit less comfortable with. Now that Numbani's out of the way, however, you know, you could start looking toward the other maps in the pool to try and go somewhere where you are a little more comfortable, because, you know, losing a map there, never going to be, you know, the best case, but the bright side, you get to pick where we go, and you get the first ban on whatever map you take us to. So now it's up to Knights of Revan to determine how this series will progress.
Yeah, especially now we're going to, I believe, Push. And Push is, there's only the 4 Push maps that have been in the game. Runasapi, I believe, was the last one added to the game, and that was back, I think, when Yari came out. So, it's been a while since a Push map was put into this, was actually integrated into the game, as, yeah, we have Kosea, East Bronze, and Queen Street, and Runasapi. I still like it that Neon Junction was implemented after the season, like a week before, like a couple days after the season started. So originally it was Hollywood, so Neon Junction just replaced Hollywood because they let all 3 leagues vote which captains vote which map to take out. And for the love of God, why didn't you guys vote Midtown or Numbani?
Let's get something in over King's Row. What are we talking about?
Okay, Kings is like
I'm
love and
sick of
hate, but it's like
King's
not. It's not like I don't want to play this.
I hate it. I'm just tired.
Kings is like, yeah, it's tiring. It's being played all the time. Midtown is just a sin against God, and Numbani is just Numbani.
That's fine. That's fine.
Like Numbani, like
I will agree.
Numbani, you have like separate lanes of attack that you can take. Midtown, you have 2 lanes of attack, like maybe 3 lanes of attack you can take, and 2 of them are just straight up garbage, kind of. Like alleyway, you're kind of like rolling all your cooldowns just to get there, and then you get stuck. Train, if you go the train on Midtown first, you're just asking for death. So then that leaves like the main choke, and and if you get picked in the main choke, like you just can get staggered over and over and over again. Like Midtown, really like interesting map and like stuff behind it, but the first point design is just like, I don't like the first point. It's just basically like It reminds me of Paris, but not as extreme as in terms of like the first choke.
Wrong. Yeah. Still waiting for the map selection to come through from Knights of Revan. I mean, you're talking the brawlier places. You know, you're looking at Colosseo. You're looking at something like the.
You can technically play Brawl on any of them. It's just tougher.
Yeah,
on
it's really.
It's just tougher on our Eastern Arena because of the high grounds.
Yeah, it's all the push maps, to their credit, as controversial as they tend to be, are very flexible. So you can kind of do whatever you want, within reason.
It's not dominated by like one certain composition.
No.
Which thank God, because when Blizzard announced it was going to be 5v5 in Overwatch 2, and I was like, 2CP will just be even more hell in 5v5. Thank God. And I still think like they had an idea like how to bring the 2CP maps back into fruition with Clash. Of course, that didn't work out, but just make them into something different. But we do have the map selection from Knights of Revan, and they have elected to take us to Colosseo.
Yeah, it's more than likely just going to be that leaning into that rush composition that we saw on map number 1. This, however, will be more of a clash of styles than map number 1 was, due to the aforementioned flexibility of the push maps in general, and Colosseo as specifically. You're able to basically, like we were saying, run whatever kind of composition that you like. So I imagine we see Knights of Revan. I doubt that with Ramatra not banned, it's not Ramatra. Out from, probably Hunter in some form of, like we were saying, rush composition. On the other side, I mean, we haven't seen a comfortable...
I just saw the ban.
Okay, well, that makes sense, right? They weren't playing the Lucio, so we're gonna get a ban from Knights of Revan. They weren't playing Lucio on map number 1 when they were doing their brawl-style compositions with the Reinhardt. So that makes me think that we're just gonna see another map with, what was it? Mizuki... It was Mizuki Juno on map number 1. I imagine that's basically what we're going to see here on Colosseo, and it takes away a really, really strong tool in that speed away from a potential rush composition from the other side.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just also like they know that Fudgin favors Lucio versus over Juno. Meanwhile, Nozomi, I really have only seen play Juno and Ana, so not a Kiri lover, which of course it's Kiri. Like, if you're forced to play Kiri all the time, you're not gonna like Kiri all the time. But they're probably just gonna like fall back on that Juno Mizu comp that they ran on Lijiang Tower, still maintain the speed and keep Nozomi on something more comfortable. On the side of Pachisuba, maybe they have Bowser coming back in, maybe they keep Team Weak. Ana is a lot tougher to run on this type of map just because, I mean, there's a long sideline in the main, like where the bot spawns, but you move through the map, it's a little tougher for the Ana player just because of how many angles you have to check, and everything's just a little too much for the Ana to probably handle. So if they keep Temwiki in, that just signals they're gonna try to continue running the Ana. Patchy, of course, now they do have the ban. I wonder if they're gonna keep up with we're just gonna ban a tank every single time, but I would not be shocked if they try to ban out a DPS here, maybe target out Sake. Or they could just ban the Reinhardt because that gave them so much trouble on map 1, but Reinhardt loses a lot of its power on non-control because you can't just sit in one spot on push.
Well, they will ban the Reinhardt. Unfortunately, though, for Pachisuba, I don't think they really had a good path or target to ban, really. Because, yeah, I agree with you. Reinhardt, when you're not in the enclosed spaces, that something like a Lijiang Tower is going to provide to you, it kind of just falls flat. There's a reason he's not exactly prevalent in the modern meta of Overwatch. So you were actually talking about it, I think, earlier. With that ban on map number 1 on to that Ramatra, it keeps them from banning Ramatra later on, right? So now, basically, Knights of Revan just essentially get to pick whatever composition that they want, right? They get everything, because they probably weren't going to play Reinhardt to begin with. They more than likely going over to that Ramatra. None of those supports that they were leaning on in map number 1 are banned. None of the DPS that they were relying on when they won map number 1 are banned either. So, as we head into this map, you're not going to have access to Lucio, but it doesn't seem like the backline of Knights of Revan really care.
Not really care, but they do have a sub coming. They do have Revan coming in for Hunter in the tank slot. So that just kind of signals Ramatra comp, because Revan pretty much exclusively has played Ramatra this season. I haven't seen him on play pretty much anything else. And Hunter's like been more like their flexible tank, and Revan has pretty much just been the mainstay on Ramatra. He will play it wherever he can. So Hunter coming out just signals they're just gonna play Ramatra, and that's probably what they're gonna try to roll with is Ramatra bro. Pachisuba, I won't be surprised if we see Sigma here, because Sigma is decent on push because on this map because of the longer sightline on Caliseo for the area spawns and generally more open. But the thing that Sigma struggles against is if you can close the distance on him, he struggles because he doesn't want to be super close to people initially. Like as the fight grows on, maybe he wants to get up in somebody's face with the rockin' primary fire. But Knights of Revan, also with Ramatra, if Pachisuba know anything, they know that Ramatra is kind of susceptible to that chain rock combo that has been like kind of the nightmare of a lot of tank players recently, is just being chain stunned. As Pomku is on Roadhog, and I see what Pachisuba's running right now. I know it's probably not going to happen, but I have lost all faith in humanity if that is what they're going to win.
No, we're ignoring them. We're just going to talk about Knights of Revan coming out exactly on what we thought. Biscuit, of course, has not picked Hero just yet. Now going over to the Mizuki. It's going to be Maga here for Pachisuba. Rush, but they don't have the speed that Knights of Revan do here.
The funny thing is like, despite like Maga being a brawl no ball tank, he does do a raise amount of total damage at range, with the chain guns. And Pomku cautions up early though, but the thing with playing Maga is you can't get your overrun or putty up your overdrive first early in the fight. Pomku already goes to critical health and after we heal that fast. There goes the cardiac overdrive, and you gotta even have that for the later fight.
Cardiac overdrive already invested. Pomku tries to run away. No good on the wall. Well, I guess Revan just wants to do a kickflip over the wall. Doesn't matter even with that anti-nade landing at the feet of that Ramatra. Timwake tracked down by OK Dragon, and it is a swift fight win here for Knights of Revan to get the push started.
Yeah, Saki's gone back over to the Symmetra. But Pachisuba, honestly, I would put Shaken more on Venture, because Venture does a really good job of just disrupting the Symmetra, like preventing her using the teleport, and actually making her something like if she wants to, because if she does, then she's in a horrible spot. If she doesn't, then it's just wasted. The wall, again, it doesn't find any value. Revan just manages to somehow get on top of the wall as it comes up and it gets away. That being said, Bungie is building to this Takai Sanctuary outrageously faster than Biscuit is.
Well, when you're pumping into a square for healing, it's pretty easy, I can assume. Pomku does actually have to get away, now re-engaging with that Takai Sanctuary. Engaging with the Overrun is going to stomp Biscuit into the curb. Unfortunately, that block can only do so much for Revan as the Overrun comes out one more time before the end of the fight. Some late picks do come through before OK Dragon ends up falling, so could be a quick re-engage here for Knights of Revan.
Yeah, it was a good kick right there from Bungie to stabilize Pomku, but I want to mention that Sake's Simwall was a very big misplacement. It didn't cut the point, it didn't cut the fight in two, it just kind of cut it like in a location where the fight wasn't even happening. So Simwall just goes on the wayside. Bungie actually does get value of his ultimate now. Nice to have a couple ultimates coming in here, but nobody has to surround to get this orbital ray off. If you're an opening though, you are probably gonna try to wait for Palm to cage. Because the great answer to the cage fight is that orbital ray.
Alright, here we go one more time in as up and over the wall goes Revan once again. Overrun forces out the Kikai Sanctuary there from Biscuit as Nozomi actually will invest that orbital ray. What a blizzard. 4 players frozen by the blizzard of it taking the wallet. And that's, I mean, a 2-for, I guess there was a nano somewhere in there, but it's a 2-for-2 trade, and Pachisuba actually come out on top of it.
Let's bring it home.
They use all their like resources initially to try to get the pick on Pomku, and that's great and all. But then they forget about but then Pokemon just throws Blizzard on down, and Nitro don't have any defensive cooldowns or any like vulnerability cooldowns to get out of that Blizzard outside of any Symmetra's teleported from Socket. He didn't have it at the time. So now, Nozomi has actually got over towards the opposite to try to play Pomku like being better. He comes to the fight with Ghost Trap, Biscuit, and Revan in it, and Revan
Wow!
very risky remark to all of them. Revan's gonna want that one back.
Benji, I don't think whiskey's the right word. Oh no.
I don't want to call it feeding, but it was
Oh, that was bad. That was really unfortunate. Oh,
especially
man.
since that was your only ultimate you had outside the Symmetra wall. The last Symmetra wall just kind of got like no value because Funny Kikai Sanctuary just like allowed this team to stabilize, and you can't. And the majority of Knights wasn't able to step into it. Now Taken just takes off 6-0 in the pre-fight.
Yeah, I mean, this Knights of Revan squad kind of like falling apart at the seams after an early surge. You're gonna see that cardiac overdrive, the Kikai Sanctuary forced out here. Blizzard as well. Gonna try and keep this Ram alive, but there's just nothing going as Pachisuba surges toward the end of Colosseo.
Yeah, and Revan, Knights of Revan really haven't been able to build up any ultimates to like match Pachisuba. Especially since Pachi's still sitting on 2 ultimates. They have this nano just like over the clock just to the fight here. And if the fight goes on, Pomku will get this ace fight, but there OC it's just enough of an answer to shut that Kisuge off there.
Yeah, I mean, a beautiful sweep there on Kisuge, and there are a couple of picks coming through. Okay, Dragon walled off, unfortunately, has to jump onto the bike to get onto the bot. Oh, going in circle right now. Okay, Dragon kind of 1v5ing at the moment. Forces away these final few players, and it will be... Okay, Dragon wins the fight, not Knights of Revan.
Yeah, especially in that fight that allowed Knights of Revan to come into that fight was Function and Tumik both died. So Pachisuba didn't have any supports on the fight to try to close it that out. They didn't use 2 ultimates, but they have this cage fight that they're still sitting on from Pop that they are building up from Pomku. And well, meanwhile, Knights do have this Annihilation, but the last Annihilation got 0 value because Revan just popped it at like couple 100 HP. To try to get the armor refresh back, Walt is stuck in a cage fight.
Alright, well, the Vendetta is caught out, unfortunately, there. Revan is actually able to pummel down Taken Wallet. Might be looking for this Annihilation soon. In the Disruptor shot, unfortunately, will actually pop the Annihilation. Cage fight ready to go for Pomku. Unfortunately, his Cardiac Overdrive is anteed up. Here is the spree as OK Dragon continues to put on a beautiful performance on this Xion. Cage fight not invested as it will be back in Knights of Revan's court.
Yeah, the Montreal from Revan is zones away the entirety of Pomku. So Pomku can't drop the cage, which he has at the time. And Function dies late too, so it's going to be a little bit of a staggered fight here. As Pachisuba, though, they are almost at 5 ultimates. Knights of Revan do have both support ultimates to work with, but it's going to be tough to get value for it. And here comes the cage fight from Pomku.
Going to get anteed. Okay, well, it ends up being fine. Pomku does end up going down, but they unlocked close spawns there, Denji. So ultimately a win for Knights of Revan.
Yeah, now they can take a fight at in the middle choke to try to at least win the spot back. But That's Revan. They have Kikai Century to work with. The only problem is Pachisuba have their own to match it, plus Taken Wall's Blizzard, who is got an immense value with everything.
Well, Gym Week is close, unfortunately, for the side of Pachisuba. Nice trade, as the step has been holding.
Oh my god, Taken! Again!
Taken Wallet has just been on a... I want to say heater, but that doesn't sound like the right word. With the blizzards.
He's icy hot with the blizzard, man. Like every single blizzard just has locked up 3 or more targets, so that's a really good value. Pachisuba are gonna have to back off though because they did lose Tim Week in that fight, and I think they also lost Fun during the chaos. So a lot of them going to come back in here a little bit. Change Wolf, man. I don't know. They're both going to come. They are almost at 4 alternates. Pachisuba still good enough.
Guy's Sanctuary in from Biscuit. The spree and the overclock ready to go for the side of Knights of Revan. Andrew actually taken down in the cast time of their own overclock as Constantly overruns 2 players to keep Pachisuba in this fight. Taking Wallet still icy right now, freezing up everybody that he can. Funjin able to get rid of Nozomi as the Annihilation is invested and goes away just as fast. Shield dancing here to try and avoid the freeze of this May spree. Ready to go here for OK Dragon. Has been a hero for this Knights of Revan squad all game long. Will not get a chance to do it again here.
Yeah, it was a bad start from Pachisuba losing during overclock. Tom could be able to trade out 2 picks, and then Revan feels like he has to use his Annihilation to try to turn the play and doesn't get any value. And again now, Knights of Revan, they have 2 ultimates, so they get Nano Spree. The Pachisuba have the Blizzard again, and Taken, like I've said there a couple times, he's been locking up like 30 plus people every single Blizzard use, and he's looking for it on the flank right now.
Just outputting so much pressure. Here is the Blizzard. It's on to the Ana. Not gonna be the flashy one. It's not gonna be the flashy ones that we've seen so far this series, but Taken Wallet on the flank continues to be an absolute menace. A hat trick to end the map. Taken Wallet putting this Pachisuba squad on to match point. They are looking so close to the playoff berth.
Yeah, and looking at the stat line of that map, none of Revan broke 20 kills. Meanwhile, inside of Pachisuba, like Pomku is 20-6 because he's on Mog, of course. Taken is 29-5. I wonder how many Blizzard freezes he did have, because I think the first one got 4 and the second 2 got 3 and the last one just got 1. But who knows? He may have like locked up maybe more targets in the previous Blizzards that I just didn't see. But Taken Wallet on that May just Revan showed like some signs of life early on, and then after that one Blizzard fight where Taken locks up 4 targets where they lose Pomku, Revan just lost all fight.
Yeah, I mean, Revan got off to a great start there on our 3rd map. Just couldn't quite keep up with it through the end of the map, so now they'll have one more chance to take us to a map. Map number 4. It will be Flashpoint, but it will not be now. We're gonna cut to a short break. When we come back, we will know where Knights of Revan is going to take us, and we may be finding out, or we definitely will be finding out, which team is going to be making it to the C League playoffs here in BPL Season 8. All right, welcome back, everybody. Two teams here in our C League still battling for the last spot in our BPL C League Season 8 playoffs. Pachisuba takes map number 3 on Colosseo over Knights of Revan. As we look forward, it will be Knights of Revan's map selection heading into a potential map point, match point, season point for Pachisuba.
Yep, and we are going to Flashpoint, so it's only 3 of them to choose from. Atlas, Saravasa, and New Junk City. If anything stays true, it's probably going to be Saravasa. That being said, though, I think Revan is 2-0 in Atlas so far this season, so they could always just go to Atlas. Also, we do have word that Andrew unfortunately had to leave for probably some IRL stuff, so Laura will be ringing in his place.
Yeah, so, you know, I get that happens, right? It's unfortunate, but we'll have that ringer lore, one of those, you know, been around for a while, so pretty trustworthy in that role as a replacement as we wait. I can't believe we don't have it yet, to be honest with you.
I don't know if Revan's like just trying to set a challenge for how long can we take to put map in and torture the casters?
Or do anything, really.
Really.
It's not just the map selection. It's a little bit of everything. Taking a little while, but that's okay. We will sit and discuss. Can we get a look at our map records?
In the chat.
It's person being annoying.
It's person just pure.
Can we get a look at our map records? Oh, okay. Flashpoint. Saravasa, of course, has not been. I guess none of these Flashpoint maps have been
the greatest
particularly great, except for that Atlas for the side of Knights of Revan. Of course, it is Knights of Revan's selection, and they are going to take Saravasa.
This is like kind of just classic. Like Saravasa, I believe, is like is probably the most picked Flashpoint map in
low key,
every single tournament, even professional play.
Low-key, I mean, I don't disagree. I think it is the most polished of the Flashpoint maps we have, but do you ever think that it's just because Knights of Revan don't know that they're actually only undefeated on Atlas?
I think it's just because everybody for some reason hates Atlas, and I still don't get it.
I think Atlas is fine. It's
yeah,
fine.
I don't think Atlas is like more well designed than New Junk is.
I don't hate any of them. I don't have maps that
the problem I have with New Junk is you play one style and one style only, or you die. And New Junk is literally just brawl, Z.
Well, we'll see what is going to be in store for us on the side of Saravasa. Of course, Knights of Revan will get the first ban as well in our ban phase. It's kind of interesting because Knights of Revan haven't really been targeting. Well, no, it was Pachisuba last map that didn't really have an impactful ban. So Knights of Revan still have some places that they can go. They can go towards the Kiriko, which they haven't really been playing, right? Whereas Pachisuba have been on that hero, pretty consistently at the very least. You look potentially the Maga, if that's where you think that Pachisuba is going to go. But it's going to actually be, as we head into our ban phase,
PTSD ban.
It's going to be a very, very targeted ban here onto the May of Taken
PTSD ban. If you see somebody put up like a really good performance in map previously on a certain hero, and then that hero gets banned the game after, it's a PTSD ban. There's like nothing like Taken was doing really good on the May. Is this like gonna cripple them? No.
No, but it also doesn't feel like there's a whole lot that they are. Um, it doesn't feel like they're in a position that they can ban really anything else than that has real impact at the moment. Uh, i- as we
Yeah,
look
there
and
we go.
see the Pachisuba Mizuki ban, another
That makes
target ban
sense.
there on it to Biscuit, of course. So with that, we do know that our bans are going to be Mei and Mizuki, potentially hedging bets for Knights of Revan that they're going to be able to take care of business on this fourth map of Suravasa and potentially save one of those impact bans for map number 5.
Yeah, now we're getting to the territories where Knights of Revan don't. They have like they actually have 3 flex supports if you count Sake as a support. He's on DPS right now, but he plays flex support. So does Biscuit, and so does Nozomi. So that ban of the Mizuki getting rid of one Biscuit's strength and being like forcing it to play like the Lucio or the Brig, which they're probably more uncomfortable on. They could play Brig Juno because they do have Nozomi who could play the Juno, but Revan has like been one of those teams that has. I don't think they've played Kiri once this season.
Definitely not tonight. Definitely not tonight, and that's a big difference, right? And especially one that could be pretty impactful on an escort map, right? No matter which escort map you go to, Kiriko's always going to be a good pick, at least, if not great, right? So that's why I was thinking, Knights of Revan hedging bets here on, the last one where, Rush is going to be the preferred composition, right? Um, which it tends to be on the Flashpoint maps, despite, some flexibility being available to just about anybody that plays these maps as well. You're hoping that you can get through, weather Suravasa, win out on map 4, and then go into a scenario on map number 5 where, potentially Pachisuba is going to take us to, in the event that they lose here on map 4, take us to somewhere where dive is going to be the preference and ban out that Kiriko if they can.
Yeah, and the last map type is an escort, so in Gibraltar, of course, Gibraltar is in the escort pool, so you could always just go there, but if it gets to that point, as a person is spreading propaganda right now in live chat saying that the games are canceled and there's movie night because he just posted something to do with the Odyssey.
Yeah, that guy's cringe. Nobody likes that guy.
We got important things on hand right now, person, and yeah.
Yeah, I need to know who's gonna make the playoffs in C League. Apparently these players don't want to know, right? I'm not crazy, right? They don't want to play the game.
It's not the players, it's person. It's just person. Person wants to abandon production just to go watch the Odyssey.
On Twitter, by the way.
Yeah, on Twitter.
Okay, maybe we should have given them a 10-minute.
Well, yeah, because Biscuit is still coming back right now, so they don't have one of their supports in the lobby. Or, well, they're in the lobby, but, they're not at their PC.
Not at the computer. Yeah. So, yeah, let's get a look at our schedule, because we do have one
schedule for tonight. Because
one more game.
Well, there's one more game on stream, and then there's a couple actually happening off stream, potentially. Yeah, so there's a couple happening off stream. Chosen versus Goblin Goobers. The winner, that's upper round 1. So the winner of that game moves on to semis in upper bracket. And then later today, Fletch, you'll be casting this one, Fletch, I'm pretty sure. Play-ins for the A-League, Echo Knights versus Noble Steed. And then upper round 1, Snowdrop versus Caladrius. And upper round 1, Yatagarasu versus Eternal X. Both of those will be happening off stream because it's a little late for everybody except for those who are playing.
We just have no people. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Everybody got lives. That's why I don't cast so much anymore.
Yeah, but we
I
can
kinda
also
got
just take a look at the bracket just to kind of get an idea who the winner of this match was going to face on ahead. As here's the A bracket. So the play-ins round one, Equinix versus No Seed has uh, the one match they play, and then they play Odin, who is undefeated still right now, and undisputedly one of the best team in A League at the moment. They are undefeated. There's a reason they're undefeated, and the winner of Echo and Noble have to play the strongest team in A League right off rip.
I mean, that's what you get. That's what you get when you're the best team, right? It's you play against the lowest seed available, you know. So Odin did their work during the regular season, and so they will be the favorites going in, no matter which team they're going to go up against. On the other side of the bracket, Phantom's Verdict and Siren Song is person. I swear to God, we talked about one game.
We talked about one game, and now we're going to B because I think he's just trying to speed it up. But B had two games happen yesterday, actually, in up around one. Hangsa and Blue Rose taking that one. Slime City versus Danu. Slime City will taking that one. So Hangsa and Danu are now both in the lower bracket, so they're both on do or die time. Play-ins both happening tomorrow at the same time. Actually, Flying Bugbears versus Those Who Crow. Winner will move on to take on Hidden King, who I believe Hidden King undefeated, didn't drop a map until last week. And then you have Flying Blahar versus Nightwings. And Nightwings, they always talk about the kickoff curse, and like that's the thing. If there's one example of the kickoff curse, it's Nightwings, who won the kickoff tournament of B, and then I think they went 1-4 in reg.
It's unfortunate. It happens sometimes. As they're going to look to try and run it back in the playoffs. They're obviously not eliminated just yet, so still looking for it as we move once more to our final bracket, the bracket we're in right at this moment. One more team will be put into the playoffs. The winner of this series is going to be the last team that this bracket needs to be complete. Maximum 2 more maps separates us from knowing which team that's going to be. Of course, Pachisuba still is up 2-1 right now. As we also saw earlier, our upper round 1 matches are going on later tonight in Chosen and Goblin Goobers, as well as Yatagarasu and Eternal X. So we're already getting into these brackets.
Yep, and Chosen versus Goblin Goobers is going to be an interesting one, because Goblin Goobers have kind of been the roller coaster team in C League. They look, besides Pachisuba, there's days where like they look like the best team in C League, and then there's days where you wondered if somebody put something in one of their drinks because they forgot how to aim or whatnot. And having played against Goblin Goobers, they were the first team to actually push my team, and because we were just kind of sitting comfortably after week 2. We were like, week 3, let's just go and win. They knocked a map off of us. They forced 0.5 on Flashpoint. So they're definitely, when they're on their game, they're definitely a really good team. Chosen, another team that's on paper, there's some teams you recognize scrimming against them. Ark does not like me because I have repeatedly countered his Wrecking Ball and Scrim, so anytime I do it, Ark just is like, man, come on.
I'd go Sombra. I would just do it. I was a Sombra one trick.
It's funny. I was using me on Malgar and he's like, man.
All right. Well, we do know the Biscuit has returned. So that's good news. That's good news.
Said R, and then Hunter Tane said, so there could be
yeah,
well,
we knew Biscuit came back. That's our update. Right?
That's our update, is that Biscuit came back, and perhaps somebody on Knights Room left to go to the bathroom as well, because we're still not going in as... I feel like we're like stuck in that universe where we're just stuck here while both teams are just figuring stuff out. At least it's not like a pause where like we're like in mid game, and then like Unko's mouse dies, and then we're stuck here for 2 hours.
Somebody unplugged the router at the huge LAN event, the first LAN event of your major circuit ever.
I think whoever did that, if that actually was a thing that happened, I think they would get sworn by every single person at the venue.
Yeah, it happened at DreamHack Dallas.
There's no way. So we unplugged the router. That is so bad.
Basically, yeah, the internet was out for like 3 hours.
So Revan is MIA actually for Knights of Revan, so Hunter's going in for them now.
Alright, so maybe no Ramatra. But maybe Ramatra.Maybe Reinhardt. I don't know. I'm hungry. I want a pizza. I talked about oh my god.
That is every single time we go in, every single time. It's just the alligator. I think that's what that is.
That's me. I'm so sleepy.
I mean, at least you're probably like the last time I casted with you, your AC was out, so it was just like extremely hot in your apartment.
Yeah, and I've moved since then. And I'm
so
moving
hopefully
again.
you have AC now.
I'm moving again next week.
Oh boy. Fletch is always on the move.
All right. Everybody, map number 4 on the horizon. Knights of Revan trying to remain in the game. Survasa begins, as always, here on the market. Entertain trying to retain their hold on this choke. As OK Dragon pokes in with that Shion, the overdrive, or the over 1 comes through. Pomku, beautiful anti-in from Timweek. Hunter able to drop that shield. Keep alive. The Symmetra will drop down to the low ground, will not be able to remain in the fight for too much longer. This Maga is going to be an issue from Pomku.
Yeah, I kind of wanted also, I saw at the very beginning, I just didn't say anything about Biscuit on Moira, so the Mizuki gun really having an impact here on what Biscuit is deciding to play as. Sake goes over to the Sierra Olympics, and Nozomi decides to finally play the Kiriko. Again, I'll play against, of course, Pachisuba is playing Honor, so it makes sense why I think it's shut down by the Honor.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a nightmare scenario for Knights of Revan, completely off their game here. A nice little fire strike though from Hunter will be able to get rid of Pomku, so will provide an opening here for the side of Knights of Revan. I'll try and walk down this Lucio. Hunter able to get that flip guaranteed.
Yeah, Lore will die late as Pachisuba do get 69% on the objective before it does flip. As it was like, I mean, the Knights of the last get through their Sake, but they trade out Pomku in that fight, so not the worst. So it's not the worst case scenario for this because Pomku needs to be allowed to actually hold the point. Killing Hunter Tank just taking out his place, but now Knights of Revan are standing on the barrel of the Nano, especially Nano Maga or Nano. But Fudgeon dies early.
Yeah, that's about as good as it could have been. Pomku put to sleep, immediately taken down, and I mean, this Knights of Revan squad coming out swinging in a very literal sense.
Yeah, and I mean, you traded Nano for Earthshatter, so it's just a 1-for-1 ult trade. Not the worst thing. Punch is gonna have the sound barrier. The big thing is Nozomi is going to probably get this considering rush in this fight. But if they can kill, if they can get, go pick up the zombie before she does this run.
Alright, well here is the Coalescence as the answer to Spongin sound barrier. Spongin just gets run down, unfortunately, for the side of Pachisuba.
Oh no!
Yeah, no Earth Shatter here for Taken Wallet. Trying to take care of somebody as the OC comes out from Lore, but eats a Fire Strike. Taken Wallet, though, is still in this fight with Timweek on it. The Ana trying to keep it going. Timweek getting walked down. Trying to take care of this Ana as the reinforcements are going to come here in for the side of Pachisuba. and they will be able to overwhelm the stragglers for the side of Knights of Revan.
Yeah, Knights of Revan kind of falling victim to what happened in the zone. He was having a really good like first part of the fight, and then unable to find a cleanup. And now it's just something that's not going to maybe get the touch here. Here comes the Trailblazers from. Yeah, but now, oh my goodness, Sake, no.
Yeah, kids get caught up in that cage fight, and it will be enough. Will be enough. Okay, two trades here as unfortunately Biscuit eats Curve again in this series, knocked out by the overrun, but Hunter is not finished, not allowing this to go away easily. Earth Shatter comes down, and I mean, will be
Oh no, Hunter! He pins Pomker off the point, and I don't think he realizes he didn't get the flip. So, Knights of Revan had that fight, but the C9 that might come back down.
Well, proof of concept. They know this composition works. They know that they can win fights. They just need to clean up the gameplay. Here's the nano boost on it to the Maga. Nice shield dancing behind Hunter there as the nano boost fades away as the coalescence also will come out. Taking while duplicating the Moira as a Laura. Good for one pick there. Pomku finds another, and it will be the 1-by-1 deaths here for Knights of Revan that allow Pachisuba to take the early flip here.
Yeah, again, Function died really early, so it was looking kind of like a little bit grim for the Pachisuba, but then they're able to come back and take him. They lose the support and they just like taking a scoop against the Mora to try to make up for that fact. And now, OK Dragon was overclosed the Genji off of the Shion. Knights of Revan have this container to rest to work with, but Pachisuba are building up towards the cage fight and they do have the OC available, so you can push something early.
Okay, there is a Maga in the back line. Alert! Pomku looking for some opportunity to jump onto one of the back line. I think it's going to rush invested. Don't quite have the cage fight built up 100%. Will be able to build up to it here in just a moment. But OK Dragon jumps onto Timwee. Will not find the target to knock down with the overrun. And will go down to Kitsuke Saki, who has found a lot of value here now on this Sojourn.
Yeah, now, neither team used ultimate. Actually, never mind. Nozomi did use the Kitsune, that's my bet. But Knights of Revan, they have like Earth Shatter, they have OC to work with, they have Coalesce. Pachisuba only really see on the cage fight and the Overclock to work with. So for even Pomku in with the slam, Hunter team Arcade's been able to face them. I think it's got really well, really.
Yeah, Earth Shatter ready to go. Cage fight as well. You're going to be looking for the opportunity to drop this potentially during the period that cage fight is active. Will not really have an opportunity to invest it now that Nozomi is gone and dead. Not even going to need to use the cage fight, and now going into this final objective, as this will be a collection of the garden here for Pachisuba. They're going to have 5 ultimates.
Yeah. They have everything outside the sound barrier, and they use that summer to engage here. So Knights of Revan, they have 3-2 match with Blade, Shatter, and Overclock, and also a little bit of the kind of side note, a little bit of a fun fact for Flashpoint. Once you know where the third point is, you know where the other two are going to be, because Flashpoints cannot go diagonal.
Right. Match point. Tournament point for Knights of Revan. Earth Shatter down, but it will find a lure. Taking Wallet on the Sojourn, duplicating this hero on the off angle. Hunter, unfortunately, behind that shield, and not super healthy. Okay, Dragon will be able to find one more pick, but no more as Pachisuba begins the assault on the temple.
So, yeah, I guess like the one side that Pachisuba can like maybe like say, or not Pachisuba and Knights of Revan have like the saving graces is that Pachisuba did use 3 of the 4 ultimates they had. Knights of Revan only used 2, and they have Kitsune Blade coming online now, and Laura only has OC that he's been holding onto for quite a long time.
Well, you're gonna need to find something big with these ultimates, knocking down the Reinhardt. Here is the Kitsune Rush. This on the clear objective. Lucio jumping straight into the blade. A murder is a Fungin as Kitsuki is able to clean up on all the damage that their Genji had done, and will be able to cap with enough time on the clock to get in should they lose a fight.
Yeah, and now Biscuit does have this lessons to maybe push the advance, push the tempo here, because Pachisuba only still has his own clock to work with, and it's going to be maybe a little bit of a longer fight to try to do other ultimates. They could just try to look for early quick times overclock, but with more overclock early in the choke point here, it's just going to be there. It's just going to get face full of shield, and everything's just going to overkill.
On the posturing, Nozomi is early here to the bird. Nozomi getting rid of taken wallet, coalescence out from Biscuit. Nice little cleanse to get rid of that anti, as it will be, you know, the attempt. Well, maybe not quite the attempt, because Maga is pretty lethal, but we'll be able to get the stagger on the bomb.
Yeah, now Pachisuba, they should be able to touch the point. They should have this one more fight left, and they will have 4 ultimates to do so. Knights of Revan only having this Earth Shatter online, maybe consider something about the overclock up in time, but here comes Papa. But they don't touch!
They invest the overclock as well. They're gonna win the fight, but I mean, it's just a split second and a hair too late for Pachisuba to get the touch.
Boy, and now Knights of Revan have a Knights of Revan take a deep breath. They know they're still alive in this map, and they have ultimates to work with. They have overclock, and they have Earth Shatter to work with. Pachisuba have go online as well, though, and that's the best thing you can ask for. Asake just rips the head off of the world.
Yeah, that was the only ultimate they did not have as an enemy, which was invested onto Pompu. They're going to try and take care of this character. Going to find the overrun on it to the ulting Sojourn, though. Pompu is down, so no tank for the side of Knights of Revan as the Hunter gets active with the charge lure. Last man, Lauren taking Wallet, I guess, are the last ones alive. And it will be a fight win cleanup here for the Knights of Revan as we begin Ruins ticking up.
Yeah, and Pachisuba used 3 ultimates in that fight, as they still have somebody to work with, but now Knights of Revan have 3 ultimates of their own almost online, the Coalescence, the Kitsune Rush, and the Dragon Blade. And Hunter went from whipping the Earth Shatter to then killing 3 people, so just kind of showing the Earth Shatter, like, he's kind of impact the really big weapon. Yeah, so there's a Celebrate from Fudging. It has to just be used to save Pompu's Rise, and he's got Steam low, and taken. We'll find out doing it in the meantime.
Yeah, this is just a fight now where we are looking to build up as much time as possible for this Knights of Revan squad. Well lost is this fight, but now they're in a position where, if they get a flip, they will collect on Ruins.
Yeah, especially since a really good job of, like, also holding back from Knights of Revan. They're realizing they just can stall it out and force Pachisuba to use more ultimates, and then come back to what they are, because they have 3 ultimates to build, but they didn't use anything. I think they were just going to use Earth Shatter too fast. Or almost gets Biscuit stuck on the side, and he will find it. Biscuit gets killed in Coalescence, and everything's done. The home to the side of Knights, they have the open advantage to try to come in, and then yeah, but they used Biscuit Saka early, and Biscuit goes down during the Coalescence.
To stay alive and do these Pachisuba players that are left on the field. Did find a couple of picks, but now, you know, they do still have a lot of time to the credit of that fight, as Kitsuke Sake able to get the revenge on Laurer. Kitsune Rush is down into this objective. Ideally would be the only ultimate that they need to invest. Will actually go ahead and throw in the Dragon Blade, though. Enough to put Ruins away and put us back to map point for both teams. Knights of Revan pushing Pachisuba to the limit.
They're pushing Pachisuba to the limit, and now this is going to be it's map point for both teams, a match point for Pachisuba. But if Nets are able to win this one, then they can force a map 5. But Pachisuba do have quite a few ultimates. And yeah, Timmy just dies early again.
Yeah, just track down. Laura is able to actually get a trade here, which is about as good as it could have been. You know, you're down one of your supports. Earthshatter comes down, and there is a pin on the Pomku Hunter. Not playing any games here in this final objective, as the overclock is infested by Lord. Taking Wallet will duplicate. The Reinhardt going to try and build up to the Earthshatter. I mean, everything is coming out of the pocket for Pachisuba. The only thing they're going to have moving forward, even with the fight win here, is going to be that sound barrier.
Yeah, they used 4 ultimates there. And yeah, they only have a sound barrier. Knights of Revan they have this coalescence that they were overclocked. But the last time the coalescence came out from Biscuit, it was just shut down completely. So it's not always just going to be a win-win thing. Especially since Function can use the beat especially since if Pachisuba can kite out, they can maybe come back in with a sound barrier engage. But if you're probably seeing the sound barrier for this overclock, so maybe just doesn't kill it immediately.
Yeah, you're looking for these early picks that we've been seeing from realistically both sides. Okay, Dragon caught out. Function tracked down, and there it is. Katsuki Sake once again looking for it. Has the OC ready to go. Tim Week in the sights will get tracked down. So Lore again, an early pick by Kitsuki answered by Lore, taking down their mirror image pin into the backland. Cared for by this coalescence, but it's not enough. Hunter explodes. The coalescence just does not provide enough healing to keep the Reinhardt in play in the face of a Maga. And now 97% and counting. Kitsuke and OK Dragon trying their hardest, trying their hearts out to keep this going. Biscuit alive as well, but even with this final pick from the Doomfist here of Hunter Tane will not be enough. Nozumi actually coming in. So, it is still technically a 2 versus 2 as Biscuit tries to keep this going. Overtime begins, and Pachisuba will zone out the objective with the cage fight. Take the palace, take map number 3, and lock in as the final team in our Season 8 C-League playoffs.
Yeah, and Revan almost managed to turn it around and force them at 5, but in the end, just not enough. As the thing I kind of want to bring it back to, where could have been, maybe we're looking at it different, where maybe we're going to map 5, the C9 on the first point, where Revan had that fight, but Hunter just pins off the point, and Revan and Pachisuba still have control of it. That is brutal to go down that way in the final map, and that's your season just done there, as Knights of Revan will bow out of the season of C-League, I believe at 8th/9th. So they join 6th Kingdom, Raw, and Boundless in the eliminated teams.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate way to go out, but they fought. To their credit, they fought until the bitter end. Mistakes be damned. They did everything in their power to take this 4th map. You can't really ask anything more, right, out of this squad. They did everything they could. They were already, seen as underdogs coming into this series, only able to get 1 series win throughout the course of the season. To come in here and push Pachisuba to the absolute limit, I couldn't be prouder of Knights of Revan, and I couldn't be prouder of Pachisuba on the other side for withstanding the push of Knights of Revan to get into the postseason proper.
Yeah, but as we always do, I honestly only have one pick for MVP or player of the match, and you're gonna disagree with you want, Fletch, but I think Taken Wallet deserves it after the performance he did on the map, on all, even on map 1 he had his moments, but map 2 onward, guy just came alive.
I think for the most part everybody kind of did their job, and Taken Wallet did kind of appear to be really, really above board on map number 3. So That's fine with me. We can give it to Taken Wallet, a really really good player, deserving of the MVP here in this series. But for now, we're gonna get a quick word in with Hunter, our good friend, the tank for the side of Knights of Revan.
As he has just joined. Hello, Hunter.
Hey, how's it going?
You're sounding very chipper for someone who just lost.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair,
Wow.
my career is off the back of unfortunate losses. Like, I gotta take the good with the bad, don't I?
You guys,
Yeah,
you guys came out swinging. I will say that. I was not expecting.
I mean,
We
for
did.
what it's worth, there was an absolute brawl in those last couple of maps, so I can't be too upset with how y'all played. So, Hunter, this is where your season unfortunately comes to an end here in the season 8. I want to get a little bit of a retrospective on this series, and then a retrospective on the season of Knights of Revan. How did y'all kind of prepare coming into this series, and how do you think that you played?
Yeah, I think it's a situation where we had to go in with that all vibes mentality at the end of the day, because we knew, like, hey, we've had a bit of a rough season, but we're going to this game, we have like that, we're back to the point where, hey, everyone's 0-0, we go into this game and we simply give it our all. That's all you can really do at the end of the day, and I'm happy that everyone came out swinging, kept fighting in that. The last thing I wanted was for it to be a silent defeat, but no, everyone was going at it to the very last second, and if that is the loss, that is the best way to take a loss, in my opinion.
That's exactly what I said.
You went out fighting, but you also have one of the unfortunate clips, Hunter.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that is a little unfortunate.
I didn't realize it happened because it happened so fast because the fight had gone on so long that the overtime bar just drained so fast when you got the point. But the first, was the Ryan like just kind of like a planned thing to counter out Patchy, since like Pumpkin really doesn't play anything like that counters out Ryan outside of maybe the Malga, so it was working pretty well when you guys played, to the point where they banned it on Colosseo.
Yeah, I think it was a situation. It was just like a judgment call of, hey, we think this is really good for what we're walking into with Pumco, and we're going to see how it works. And as you saw, it worked really good right out the rip, and it kind of gave everyone this boost of confidence to go forward and say, like, okay, this is doable. We're not exactly savants when it comes to control, so when we did win one, it's like, oh shit, okay, we got a dog in this fight.
Yeah, and I mean, also Revan is here, so I just kind of want to hear, like, because Revan, it is your like rookie season. You are brand new to BPL, so going into the draft as a captain, did you have a strategy like in the draft at all, or were you just like kind of like, hey, this person looks good, I'll try to get them?
I did actually have a strat. So, first thing I kind of wanted to do was immediately I wanted to spend a lot of points on a high rank player for support or DPS, and I went with Nozomi. And then after that, I was just kind of like I was like doing bids here and there for players, just kind of waiting for everyone else to bleed out their banks a little bit. If there was a good player on the board that people were voting, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take that. But I've done drafts before. I thought I had a fairly good strategy going in.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys fought to the bitter end in this match.
True.
You guys started out really strong Colosseo, and then after that fight where the 4-man Blizzard happened, it just kind of some stuff just hit the fan, and but
For sure.
you guys went out. I will say, playing against Revan, especially since you and I were in the same pool, but playing against your team in week 2, despite what happened in week 2, not in week 2, it happened in week 1. I wasn't expecting that to be that big of a battle as it was on Neon Junction. Like, I was like, holy crap, Nozomi is just eating us alive on this Ana pick.
For sure.
All right. Alright, well, for now though, guys, we will bid adieu to Revan and Hunter. Thank you for coming to talk to us. Before we send y'all out, both of y'all, is there anything you'd like to bring up that maybe we did not, or any shout-outs that you would like to make?
I would just like give a shout out to my team. Honestly, I'm gonna say this. I think it's my third team I've managed. Not in this league, of course, but in other leagues. I think that okay, so
Words are
we
hard.
did have some problems. We did have our problems. For example, when we were trying to decide there, I think somebody like switched me out without telling me, and switched me in for, and that's okay. It's all good. But all I have to say really is I didn't think I did my best as a team leader. You know, I didn't think I did my best as a player either. You know, that's a little bit unfortunate. It was a learning experience for sure. But I think for now, I probably won't captain for a minute on any other leagues. I'm probably gonna look to co-captain or captain under somebody in another league. You know, get some different perspectives. You know, maybe try and improve in those areas. That's all I gotta say. But basically, what I'm saying is, if I play in this league again, it's not gonna go the way it did. It's gonna go a lot better. But yeah, but my
Anything
team
from
was
you,
really good.
Hunter?
Great guys.
Yeah. I mean, I have to shout out the team as well. It was a scenario where, hey, things didn't, I think, start out the best. I think availability was kind of all over the place, but everyone would come together for these games, and everyone would continuously kind of put in that effort. And I'm happy that I got to play with a lot of these people, to meet them for the very first time, to reunite with Biscuit for a season was also very nice. Absolutely love playing with Biscuit. Like, he's phenomenal.
Just to add to that, sorry to take up your time, but yeah, we may be at the bottom of the league in our standing, but in the heart and the effort we put in, especially with like Sake and Biscuit and all the other guys. I think we're at the very top there, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
And I'm
Alright.
proud of everybody.
I just got one more final thing to say just to get in here. I know you guys have a schedule and you got to go to next like 15 minutes, so I'm gonna be really quick right now. Just gonna glaze all y'all. Shout out to this prod team that has been putting absolute freaking work in the entirety of the season so far. And
Yeah, I've been working so hard, Hunter. You don't understand. I've been working so hard, bro.
Yeah, you have, bro. In the flesh, more like in the booth. Bro is going wild, but
He's not.
unfortunately,
He's not. I haven't casted for BPL since October, Hunter.
All right, well, listen, you're back on the horse.
I'm
Right.
kicking you out. All right, get out. Get out. We
You guys have a good night.
I gotta go to Little Caesars, guys. All right.
so-
Thank you for talking to us, y'all. Before we head out, though, we are gonna get a quick look at our bracket. Since we do know what our full bracket is going to look like now, they will be going up against Denji, your squad, the Elvish Soul Knife. Tomorrow night, it looks like.
Yep.
So looking forward to that one.
I'm looking forward.
Yeah.
I love playing against Pomku because he's fun. He takes stuff like seriously, like he should like take, but he's also funny. Like if something happens, like he falls off the map or whatnot, he'll just say in chat like the most outlandish thing you can think of.
Yeah, and of course, 2 of those matches will be happening tonight here very, very soon. Our match 4, Chosen Goblin Goobers, and Yadorogasu and Eternal X will be happening tonight. As well as an A-League play-in here to decide one of our other final playoff teams, Echo Knights versus Noble Steed, as well as Snowdrop versus Caladrius in the A-League. So, for now, guys, we are going to cut it for a little while. We'll be back in 45-ish minutes for our A-League play-in between Echo Knights and Noble Steed. Thank you all for watching. We'll be back in just a little bit.